name is Brie Sodano, and I'm a personal finance expert and the founder of From Sheep to Shark. And so you guys are here today with me to go through the invisible system to stop bleeding money and to start stacking cash. And I'm super, super pumped about this. I love this presentation. Cash flow management is one of those topics where you can get a really fast, quick win and see results with money. You know, for minimal changes, it's one of the things that I love to do when I work with my clients. And so a lot of the work that I do with clients is huge. I usually work with clients over the course of 6 months, and we're working on their entire financial picture at once. And what I found in doing this is that cash flow management is one of the biggest cruxes to financial problems. So today I just want to share something super digestible with you guys so that way you can start to get that shift in your money and your mindset and have some actionable steps to make moves. So what I want to say before we really get into the meat of this is that even though you're responsible for your money problems, even though you're going to be the one that has to pay off pay anything off, or you're going to have to be the one that deals with whatever it is that's going on, a lot of times money problems aren't really your fault. And the reason is because we get no financial education in school. Most of us weren't raised by wealthy people who also have healthy relationships with money. When you don't understand the financial systems as they are, you end up getting screwed over and over again. An example of that is student loans. And another thing is that credit card companies mess with your habits. Retailers and marketers use your psychology against you, and they try to get into your impulse purchases at every opportunity. So the 3 things that I'm going to teach you guys today are that I'm going to teach you why budgets and cash envelope systems don't work in real life. I'm going to teach you why debt-free is not the starting point to wealth, and that our obsession with being debt-free is really holding us back and keeping us broke. And I'm going to teach you the entire invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. I'm not holding anything back. This is the exact system that I work with clients on. Money problems suck. And everybody that comes to see me has the exact same problem with their money, no matter how much money they make. And it's always, I don't have enough. It goes too fast. There's not enough to make ends meet. It doesn't stretch far enough. And so what I want to say about that is it's not a lack of resources. That's the problem. It is a cash flow management problem. That's the problem. If you make $32,000 a year, you are in the top 1% of global earners. And I realize that I'm saying this to Americans. So, but even in most places, $200,000 a year, which is a lot of money, puts you in the top 1%. So even if you're making a little less, it's not a lack of resources. That's the problem. All right. So symptoms of cash flow problems. If you run out of money before your next paycheck, if you want to save and you think that you have enough money to save, but it never really seems to happen, if you have no idea where your money goes. And usually this comes if you open up your statements and you see the balance and you're like, somebody stole my identity. But then you get into it and you're like, I did go there. The kids did need that. And I was hungry that day. If you have credit card debt, if you get caught off guard by unexpected expenses, if you have anxiety about making regular purchases, if you have to check your bank balance at the grocery store or when you're out to dinner, you probably have a cash flow management problem. If you pay overdraft or late payment fees, or if you're not saving, or if you're spending money out of savings, these are all symptoms of cash flow problems. And mastering cash flow is the only way to make progress toward financial independence. It's the only way. And real financial independence is when your assets cover your living expenses. So when your money works hard enough for you that you can pay your living expenses and buy the groceries, you are free at that point to do what it is that you want. And I truly and honestly believe that anybody that wants to achieve this can achieve this. And because it's not about a certain dollar amount, it's about matching this to your lifestyle. And so that makes it really feasible. I have clients that are financially independent that, made 40 grand a year. And it's easier when you have less of a lifestyle, even though you'd think it'd be harder to save. So in the next 60 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact system that I teach my imperfect clients who have busy lives, how to manage their money without budgeting, without envelopes, without living like a pauper or sucking all the fun from their lives. And so if you stay till the end, I'm going to bribe you with some super cool worksheets that you're going to love. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I worked in the nonprofit sector for 10 years before I went into finance. And there were 2 points in that career that are worth telling you about. The first one was I was super happy. I loved my job. I was the team director. I was getting paid to go into work, play video games with teenagers, read excerpts of Twilight, and I loved it. I was super happy. The problem was I was making $40,000 a year. And I had a house and a baby, and it just wasn't really enough for me to have the kind of life that I wanted. So I taught myself how to trade stock options at night, and that's how I supplemented my income for the next couple of years. The second point in that career was I just burned out. I was exhausted. I was not being paid for the value that I was bringing to the table, and I was tired. So I took a job with Edward Jones, one of the biggest financial institutions in the nation, and I got all my financial licenses, my Series 7, my 66, my insurance licenses. And what I found when I started working with clients is that most people did not have the problem of, oh gosh, Brie, I have so much extra money. I need your help to invest it. I couldn't possibly be troubled to figure out my investments. So I was realizing that people were coming to see me and they wanted to invest, but they couldn't because they had these credit card problems, and they wanted to pay for their kids' college, but they weren't able to save, and these unexpected expenses were messing with people's nest eggs all the time. And so when I started my own firm, I started just doing like problem solving, strategy, planning, controlling money, implementation, mindset. And I built this system because I'd watched clients have budget fail after budget fail. And so I realized that budgets don't really work. So who this workshop is for is if you make good money, but you have debt or not enough in savings, if you have student loans, credit cards, or other debt weighing on you, if you feel overwhelmed or frustrated getting started, if you know that you could be doing better, if you have a growth mindset, and if you're ready to make a change, who this workshop is not for. If you want to get rich by being cheap, that's not what I'm going to teach you today. If you rather complain than take action, want. If you're looking to get rich quick, we're not going over anything to make money. We're going to talk about managing what you've already got. And if you don't want to work or grow, and if you want to make excuses, then this isn't for you. So we are going to go over a lot of information really, really quickly. So I would suggest closing out all your other tabs and distractions, grabbing a notebook and a pen, because this is going to move fast. I've jammed a ton of value into this presentation, and we should only be here about an hour. So let's get started. So does this sound like you? Did you do everything right for getting ahead? You studied hard, you went to school, you got a career, and you're not really making progress financially. You feel like maybe you're treading water or maybe even drowning. And does this sound like you? You're worried about your financial future. You're overwhelmed when you try to get it straightened out. You feel like money gets a veto power in your decisions. Oh, I'd like to go on that trip, but money says I can't. If money is a bone of contention in any of your relationships, if you make payments on your debt, credit card, student loan, or whatever, but they never seem to go away, if you're not saving what you could or you should be, and you've tried other things that just didn't work, imagine what your life is going to be like when you're crystal clear about how much money it takes, one, to invest so that way one day you don't have to like go to work anymore. When you know exactly how much it takes to pay the bills and you have an organized system to do that. When you have money for emergencies or for opportunities. When you get to save and use your money for some fun stuff. And when you know how much you can spend each week or each month without messing up the rest of your plan. And you're making progress towards your life goals. Because what I want to say, is that money is a tool. Money is not the end game. Money is to help you get to the end game. And most of us use it the other way around, that we live our lives around the constructs of money when we just don't have to. You want to dictate directions to your money. You want to tell it where to go. Imagine what your life's going to be like when you are confident about your spending, about your saving, when you know that the money that you're spending on your lattes isn't going to mess up your retirement. And when you start to see possibilities and opportunities instead of obstacles and struggles. And so what would it mean to you? So this is what it meant to Lou. Lou came to see me and he had credit cards and student loans. He was working at a job he didn't really like. And what we ended up doing, what he really wanted to do, this was what was most important to him, is he wants to take 6 months off from work and hike the Appalachian Trail. And so that's on the schedule for spring next year. you have to time it very specifically. So in the time that we worked together, we made a plan very specific to get rid of all his cards, to get his student loans down to zero. So that way, when he went and he was hiking, he didn't have any expenses to carry. And so using money as a tool, that's what it meant for Lou. Financial independence is possible and for anybody, but managing your cash flow is the prerequisite. Using an investment property to pay off your student loans, that's a beautiful idea, right? That sounds sexy, doesn't it? But you have to have money saved to put your down payment down. So that means you have to manage your cash flow to get there. Let the stock market work for you. That's another sexy idea, right? You're like, the dividends are gonna pay my bills, so good. But you have to have money to buy stocks. And that means you have to manage your cash flow to be able to save it. When you get to choose to work because you want to go there, like when you choose because you love doing what you do and you get fulfillment from it, not because you have to for the paycheck. That's a great, fantastic goal, but you also need to manage your cash flow to get there. And so you must manage your cash flow to stop bleeding and start stacking cash to do any of these things. So what I want to say before we get started is just results aren't typical. And it's just because most people that watch a training get big fat zero results because they don't do anything with it. Information is not the same as action. Action is where results come from. Reading the recipe doesn't get the cake baked. So understanding this material is easy, but that doesn't get the results. The results come from doing it, taking action, deciding to make a change, and then executing on it. So here's what we're going to cover today. Budgets don't work in real life. Debt-free is not a requirement for wealth building or for savings, and the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. So truth bomb 1, budgets and money envelopes don't work in real life. Did you know that 39% of Americans report having no savings at all? Another 39% report having outstanding credit card debt. 69% of Americans report having less than $1,000 in savings. And another 55% of people 55 and older have $0 in retirement savings. That is terrifying. That's crazy. And in a different study, 78% of Americans report living paycheck to paycheck. So that's nearly 8 out of 10. So this problem is big and it's pervasive. And it's because we keep trying things that don't work. There are layers of reasons why budgets don't work. 1, budget's only one aspect of the entire system. If your problem is not necessarily a spending problem, your budget doesn't really address that. You know, budgets are about deprivation. They honestly make people feel restricted and then they rebel against themselves. It's bananas. It just doesn't work. The second reason, our budgets are the wrong tool. Budgets are really a business tool. They're meant to be used when you have all your numbers in front of you and you're sitting at a table to make a decision. But in real life, in a household, like in a household situation, you don't bring your budget with you to the grocery store. So keeping mental tabs on all those line items is crazy talk. It's not something that our brains are really meant to do. And the third reason is that most people that try budgeting are doing it wrong. If you start with a blank sheet of paper and you write down all your expenses, you're just wrong. And it's just because we're human beings, and mental accounting is a very flawed system. Your brain categorizes money of different levels of importance, and it really takes the reality of the situation fully away from you. And so when you start with a blank sheet of paper, you totally miss the forest for the trees because the truth is in the transactions. So cash envelope systems, they don't work either. They're archaic. I mean, this idea was brought about sometime during the Great Depression, where you put all your money in envelopes so that way you don't accidentally overspend, right? In today's day and age, we're busy. We got a zillion things to do, and a cash envelope system requires so much extra running around. I had a client come to see me. She was using this method, and she was getting into fights with her husband about it because she was going to the bank 2 or 3 times a week and running errands every single day to go pay for stuff with cash, or driving home because she forgot her grocery cash envelope and she needed to pick up milk on the way home. You know, this doesn't match our digital lifestyles. Why would you go, I mean, when you can pay with a debit card, why would you be driving around all over town to get actual cash? And the system also, the commitment device is there in the envelopes, and it brings choices up to the consciousness, but it also really instills a robbing Peter to pay Paul mentality. Okay, one other thing, the law of attraction and manifesting money. There is a lot of good advertising out on your Facebook feeds right now about manifesting money. Oh, if I just think super hard about it and I light a candle, somehow I'm going to just attract money into my life. And here's what I want to say about that, is that I actually firmly believe and see evidence of the law of attraction operating in my lives and my clients' lives all the time. But, and this is a big but, if you are not good with a little, having more doesn't help. Attracting money is fantastic, but it's not enough to get ahead. Most of the time, if you have money problems, if you have more money, you just have bigger problems. 87% of lottery winners are bankrupt within 3 years. That is astonishing. That means 9 out of 10 people who come into money make a bigger mess than when they didn't have money. And so that's what I want to say about this. You have to manage your cash flow. So the system that I'm going to teach you takes the best of budgets and cash envelopes and the woo, because budgets, for all their flaws and execution, they are wonderful. If they're thinking ahead, they're good for projecting expenses, and they're good for clarity. Cash envelopes have a commitment device, and that means that making choices with your money comes to the conscious part of your brain, and that's powerful. It's you being in charge of your money. And the law of attraction is about learning how to focus your attention, and focus and clarity are critical for making your money do what it is that you want it to do. And so truth bomb 2, debt-free is not the first step toward building wealth. Baby steps are for people who want to be better at being poor, because the focus is backwards. The idea that you have to pay off all of your debt before you start to really save, I know there's $1,000 in the baby steps, but like that idea is holding you back. And here's why. It's because there's a hamster wheel of debt. When you direct all of your focus toward your debt, what you don't do is have enough money in savings. So let's say something pops up and you spend your $1,000, or you have an emergency that costs $2,000 or $3,000. You still will have the habit of needing money because you've used all your cash flow to pay off your debt. And so your habit stays the same, right? Now you need money, and now you go back to credit because you don't have the money saved. So even though you're trying super hard doing the exact same thing that didn't work for you before. Debt is always the result of needing money. And another thing that I want to say is being debt-free doesn't mean that you're necessarily in good shape. You could be in good shape if you're debt-free, but if you're not saving money actively, then you have debt. It hasn't happened yet, because at some point life's going to throw you a curveball. You'll be unprepared for it, and then you're going to have to borrow the money to take care of the thing that you need to take care of. That's just how these things go. So if you have a small amount of money in your savings account, just because you're debt-free doesn't necessarily mean you're good to go. And that's even if you have good habits like paying off all of your debt every single month. So if you use your credit card to get points or whatever, and every month you pay it off, you still might be in rough shape. So the truth about payments is that a lot of times the idea of debt-free comes with the idea of, I'm not going to have any payments. I just want to not have any payments. I don't want any bills. When people tell me this, I'm like, that's totally not a thing. Like, if you're alive, you're going to have expenses, because you're always going to have payments, because there are some expenses that are just costs of a decent life. And when you can make these payments in advance to yourself via your savings, right? Ahead of the expense. And you have the option at that point to go and say, you know what, I'd like to buy that ride-on lawnmower cash, please. Or you can make the payment to the bank after the fact, or something in the middle where you make a down payment. But you're always going to have payments. That's just the truth of the matter. They don't necessarily have to go to the bank, but they have to go somewhere. The habit of needing money is the root cause of debt or not savings. And debt is always, always, always the result from the habit of needing money, because you need to switch your thinking around this. So that way you start building the habit of having money, and then you can replace the habit of needing money. And this is a slightly slower process than trying to get rid of all your debt, but this works. Trying to get rid of all your debt by focusing on your debt only makes your debt bigger. And so how to get rid of debt forever? The first thing is you need a mindset shift. You have to start focusing on your savings and focusing on what you really want in life and what you want your money to be doing for you. And the biggest reason for this is because what you focus on grows. Where you put your attention grows. So stop focusing on debt. Second thing, you need to choose the best strategy for paying off debt. And then it's almost a set it and forget it. You have to monitor the plan. You have to make the payments. I mean, there's some doing every month, but you want to stop sending your mental attention to your debt. You want to start building what it is that you do want. Then you put the plan in place and you do it. And the way to get rid of the debt forever is to change the habits that cause the debt in the first place. So on a real fundamental level, the habit of needing versus having money. Sometimes you have to change your habits around the way that you shop or the way that you save. And you have to really look at that. And you have to think about all the things in your life that you have enough of and your resourcefulness rather than thinking about what you don't have and focusing on lack. And so when you make that mindset shift, it makes the behavior changes easier. So this is how Marianne felt after mastering this system. She loved the program and working with me. I helped her get on track with her money goals at a time where she was killing it. She was making so much money, but wondering where's all her money going. So she set up the system and she built her savings and investments. She's got another account where she doesn't have to worry about the unexpected costs. And she like makes a little joke about the unexpected being things that are totally expected. Also her car taxes. She paid off one of her credit cards and she's on a clear track to have the rest of her debt gone in no time. So she would recommend working with me basically to get your money stuff together so you could do the stuff that you really want and you really deserve to do. So truth bomb 3, the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. The super sexy reason you guys are all here, right? So if budgets and cash envelopes had a baby that only got good genes and was born in the digital era, this is how this system works. So before I show it to you, I just want to tell you the order of how this goes. So the first thing you need to do is get clear on the numbers. You have to really understand where your money's been going. And the truth is in the transactions. You cannot do this with a blank sheet of paper. You have to do this by printing out all of your statements to understand where your money's been going. Because otherwise you're going to make cuts to the things that you love most when there is so much waste in our budgets. The second thing is to know to understand what your real necessities, not your luxuries, but your necessities are. And then after you do that, then you project for the unexpected or the totally expected and typically unprepared for. So this is where you're going to put your irregular bills, the stuff that comes up quarterly or semi-annually, taxes, insurance, lawn or snow care, heating oil, water, sewer taxes, 401k loans. You want to start to think about the family stuff that comes up and also messes with your budget. If you have weddings to go to this year, if you buy a lot of gifts, your holiday season, your family gatherings, birthday parties, back to school throws a lot of people off. August is a very expensive month for a lot of people. If you can foresee a disaster, you want to start to think about those things. Am I going to need a new car? Is my water heater on the fritz? Do I have a super old dog that I might need to take to the vet one of these days? And then you have to think about your self-care, your clothing, your hair expenses, the stuff that's not necessarily every month, but it's important to you. Then you want to plan for the big, important, fun stuff in your life. Most of my clients want to save money for vacations and house repairs, but whatever is most important to you is what I'm talking about. If it's an expensive purse or whatever floats your boat, man, that stuff's up to you. And then you want to keep your pocket cash under control, but you still need to have some pocket spending so that way you can buy a latte and you can make autonomous decisions in your day-to-day without feeling deprived. And you feel good about these things and you know that the rest of your life is in place. So when you buy your latte, you get to just drink that thing and not feel bad about it. Guilt-free lattes. So here's how this system goes. Is the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to put some money aside to keep. This is pay yourself first money. This is not your emergency money. This is not rainy day funds. This is money that is specifically going to be used to make money for you. Okay, that's what it's for. And that's the first stop that your money would take. Then the second stop that your money would take is to go to your bills account. And this is going to be for all the things that you need to operate your basic standard of living. Easy peasy. Then you project all the things that I just talked about, the taxes, the family stuff, all of those things that I just listed off for you guys. Then the next place is for your important things, your fun money, the stuff that is most important to you. Then the last place that your money goes is to your pocket, because most people spend way too much money here and then they don't have money here. But what happens when you have what you want but not what you need is your life is super duper stressful. You have anxiety around money because then you're feeling bad about the stuff that you bought and you still need, then that goes on debt. It makes your expenses higher. It pinches you. None of it makes any sense. So this is how to do it. So this is how Melissa Salvia felt after mastering this system. I helped her and her husband get control of their finances and crush their goals. They're in their dream house. They're managing their expenses. They're saving for retirement and even starting to save for family vacation. Don't waste another second or penny without her guidance. So what they had they have a super common money management system where all their money went into one account, and they used that one account to pay their bills, to save money, to spend money. And at the end of the month, there was always negative or $0, pretty much. And they were always super stressful. And it's because when you don't have any separation in your money, stuff gets really confusing and it's too much to keep track of. And what complicated their situation even one step further is they both, her and her husband, had access to debit cards. So they were both spending out of this one account that was in charge of all the bills and everything else. And it would perpetually make a mess. And so when we separated it out, they went from thinking that they didn't have enough money to that they do have enough money, and that they improved their living situation, they're saving for retirement, managing their expenses, and doing all this good stuff. So the next thing that you want to do around this system is to automate the savings, but spend manually. So you want to set up a bill payment system through your bank. Set up direct deposits so that way your money goes right from your paychecks into the right accounts with the right amounts, into the right accounts with the right amounts. Then you want to invest your money automatically, but super important, you want to pay your bills manually. So that way the stuff that's easy peasy and doesn't need focus is the stuff that's good for you. That stuff runs on autopilot. You don't have to worry about that. But your bills require a little bit of attention because that's how you keep them in check. Auto payments are like the worst thing ever because you forget about it. And if a company makes a mistake and accidentally draws your car payment twice, it takes 14 days to get the money back. And by then you've overdrafted your account and made a mess of everything. And so the level of convenience isn't worth the amount of control that you give up. All right, the last thing is you want to use a debit card or cash for your pocket spending. So that way it's limited to that one account. You can't accidentally spend your savings. And so this is how Gina Wallace felt after mastering this. She recently came to the cash flow class and it was really great. She learned a lot for herself and she even applied these principles to her business. And a lot of her stuff was a mindset and about changing the way she looked at things. She found a tremendous bleed in her money and now that was enough to fully fund how much she needed to save for her retirement, which she'd never been able to do before. Since she came to the class, she opened up the separate accounts and she's learning how to adjust and manage the budgets and the finances. Okay, so listen, we're like budgets, cash envelopes, and manifesting money don't work. It just doesn't work in real life. The idea of debt-free is holding you back and keeping you broke. The invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash is really how to do it. That is the best way that system works. I've tested it with hundreds of clients over the last few years. And then once this is in place, it works and it's easy, it's organized, and it's a very clean way to do it. So today I promise the exact system that my clients use to manage their money, to pay off their debt, and to still be able to enjoy their life without feeling like a pauper. So who wants to get their money stuff together? Who wants to do that? Wouldn't that feel good to like get your stuff in order where you know all this stuff? So I'm going to offer you guys a program if you want to hear about it. So now you have a choice. You can stay in the situation a little bit longer and you can take what I taught you today, learn something new, and not ever do anything with it, right? Information doesn't get results. 78% of Americans are failing at money. Don't be one of them. Like you don't have to. Or if you want to learn how to save money for investing, pay the bills without stress, save for emergencies and opportunities, save for fun stuff, and still have money in your pocket, I'm going to teach you the way to do it. So introducing the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. Controlling your money is the first step toward building wealth. You have to have clarity. You have to use your money for what you really want. So this system gives you control without adding more to your to-do list. So who is this system for? People who are ready for a change, people willing to do the work and take the actions. And you don't need to be perfect. You can start just where you are. This system works no matter how big the mess is. You just work on it and you get it to where you want it to be. And that takes a little bit of time, but you do not have to be perfect or have like extra money to be doing this. This system works no matter what the situation is. So Kristen Marie took the cash flow workshop and woohoo, she believed that she was just bad at money and she truly just didn't know what to do with it. The method that I gave her was the shift that she'd been craving. It was organized and easy way to understand how to make money manageable and take the next step toward financial freedom in future. She had a lot of embarrassment and shame around money. And so when I started with strategies and non-judgment, it allowed her to move beyond those emotions and not get tangled up with feeling like she sucked because her budget didn't work, or feeling like she had the willpower to make her budget work. You know what I mean? Because that's a bad feeling and that's paralyzing. So now she feels confident and she's changing her relationship with money. And so this system is a beta course. This is the first time I'm teaching this online. So this is like the super sweetest deal ever because I want to make sure that I take super good care of everybody that decides to work with me. So in this 6-week course, what you're going to get is week 1, saving to invest. We are going to very easily run some numbers. I'm going to teach you how much money you need to save to reach financial independence, if you're on track and saving enough, or how much you should be saving, the best type of account, and how to set it up. In week 2, we're going to go over paying the bills. We're going to get clear on how much your monthly necessities actually cost. We're going to even out the cash flow to end the feast and famine cycle. What I mean is usually people have one half of the month where their bills are way higher than the other half. So half the month they're super broke, eating ramen, like not going out doing anything fun. And the other half of the month, they're like, I got extra money. How to organize your bills for maximum efficiently and how to set up an online system to pay your bills in like 15 minutes a month is pretty much, that's what we're going to do on week 2. Week 3, we're going to go into projections and how to project the unexpected expenses and how much these things you should really be allocating to save for, how to run the numbers, and how to set up an online system. Week 4, we're going to go over how to set fun financial goals like vacations, how to actually do this and make these things actually happen so that way you don't end up putting stuff on your credit card because you feel like you deserve it and then feel guilty the entire time you're away. And then again, setting this stuff all up online in an easy to manage way. Then week 5 is about pocket money. We're going to go over how much to spend each week and month, how to balance date nights, groceries, dinners out, gasoline, and how to change and manage the bad habits that you have that leave you broke. And what I want to say about this is a lot of times this is not about sacrifice. This is about eliminating waste and joyless expenses. Most of the time people come see me, they do you know what they say to me? They say, oh, I'm so broke. I probably need to get rid of that $80 yoga class. And I'm like, no, you love that class. That class makes a huge difference for you. Let's get rid of the stuff in your budget that you spend and you don't even know, you don't even use, you don't even care about. Keep your yoga class, lady. All right, and so week 6 is how to put together the whole thing, how to set up the online system, when to move money, when to leave it alone, how to manage the paperwork, just how to really execute this, like understanding how the system is going to work for you. And then what you're going to get is super cool spreadsheets and a workbook. So it makes the math nice and easy, reminds you what you need to do, how to track your progress, do the math. So this system is a $1,497 value. You're going to get all 6 parts to this: saving to invest, the bills, working capital, important things, pocket money, the invisible system, the tools. And then because this is a beta class, what you're going to get is this super duper extra special thing. So this Friday is May 20 something. This Friday is the last day of this, but what I'm offering for the first people that sign up is a live private Facebook group every Thursday. I will be in there live. So if you have questions, if you're not sure about something, you can ask me and I will answer you fully and completely. If you need a hot seat time to ask me questions and like apply this to your life, you're going to get an hour of my time every single week for the entire 6 weeks. I'm going to be live in there answering questions. It will be recorded if you are not available to come live. And I'm only going to do this for the first 20 people because honestly, I just want to make sure that every Every single thing that you guys could think of, any question that you have gets answered. So I'm going to take super duper great care of you. And this is a $997 value, and it's actually probably worth way more than that. Clients in my office pay me $3.50 an hour to come sit and have me do this for them. So you're going to get that same value, and it's going to be recorded so you could go back to it whenever you want. It's fantastic. And so this system puts you in charge of your money, and you're going to find so much money. Most of my clients find $500 to $1,500 a month that they've been losing. Like they just didn't know where it was going. And it wasn't necessarily making them happy. It really wasn't. Most of my clients report being happier after giving up some of the stuff that's just like junk food for their expenditures. So listen, the system is good on its own, but strategy, mindset, and habits need to be addressed too. So I put some bonuses in here, and I'm going to tell you about this in just a second. So again, I just want to remind you, you're going to get the $1,497 value. You're going to get the 6th part of the program, the tools, the community, and then I'm going to talk about each one of these bonuses that are each a $497 value. And that is this offer ends up being a $2,988 total value. Plus if you buy this course by this Friday, which is tomorrow. Oh, it's tomorrow because today's Thursday. You're going to get an extra $1,000 of extra special one-on-one time in a small group. You're going to get your questions answered, whatever it is that you need, because I'm dedicated to your success in this. So bonus 1 is a $497 value, and it is 7 strategies to get rid of your credit card debt. I'm going to show you each of the 7 strategies, then teach you when it's appropriate and show you what to do and how to do it. The 7 strategies to get rid of credit card debt are a holding pattern, snowball with a credit card shuffle, a personal loan, a 401k loan, consolidation service, and bankruptcy. I mean, some of these you probably want to avoid if it's possible, but each one of these are best in one set of circumstances, or sometimes several sets. But I'm going to teach you all of that so that way you know which one of these is going to be best for you. And you can make your payments with confidence and feeling good about it. And again, we're going to talk in depth about the habit of needing money and ending that and start the habit of having money. If all this did for you was just show you how to use credit responsibly, stop getting screwed by the credit card companies, and get rid of your debt faster, that is absolutely worth all of that, because you're probably paying that over the course of a year or 2 in interest. I had a client the other day who came to see me, and just changing their credit card strategy, just paying the way that they were paying it off, we weren't even paying off anymore. Like we weren't even increasing the payment, just changing the way that they did it is going to save them $4,300 in interest this year, just this year, okay? So bonus 2 is about mindset. It's breaking that scarcity cycle. Busy, broken, exhausted, run all day. It's like the infinity sign. And no matter if you go faster, you just go faster. You end up more busy, more broke, and more exhausted. So I'm going to teach you how to change your thinking to break that scarcity cycle. We're going to do money mindset reprogramming, activities, duplicity, how to stop self-sabotaging. Do you know so many people self-sabotage? We have this duplicity where we take one step forward and one step back, and we wonder why we don't make progress. Finding those duplicities is critical for success. When you want it, but you don't really think it's possible. You want it, but you think something bad will happen, or you want it, but you don't really want it. It's tricky. These duplicities cause a lot of damage, and we're going to go over that in module 2, bonus 2, a $497 value. Chris Ricci worked with me, and so he says it's a pleasure working with me, that I'm a super bright and talented young lady. And I think really the point that you want to take from this is that I really take my relationship with my clients very seriously. My knowledge of financial strategy, money management is vast, and it's continuously growing. I'm continuously educating myself, and I'm super dedicated to my clients' success. Like I care so much that people's situation improves and that my clients get good results. So if all this course did for you was show you how to stop making financial choices in scarcity and desperation, that is worth all of the $2,988. And here's one story just to demonstrate that. I had a client come see me, and her van broke. So she went to go buy a car in absolute panic mode and absolute desperation. She had medium bad credit. It wasn't fantastic. So she ended up buying a truck at a super high interest rate with a $600 a month payment, which was way too much for her budget. And she was overpaying on interest, and she really had a bad deal. And the reason that this happened was she felt so scarce when she went there. Like this was going to be the only thing that was available to her. That desperation is where she was making that decision from, that scarcity and desperation mode, cost her $600 a month because she made a bad choice. And so if you prevent even just one decision made in desperation, that is totally worth $3,000, the $29.88, you know? Bonus 3, we're going to go over easy habit changes, money tracking, efficiency, gratitude, more. What I want to say here is that so much money goes to straight waste, stuff that is not making your life any better. Stuff that if you cut those things out of your life, literally you would have no impact. You wouldn't have to give anything up, like a sacrifice, I mean. Because we all have just inefficiencies and waste in the way that we buy things and the way that we do these things. So just this one activity about efficiency will save you at least $250 every single month forever, like and ever. Because when you realize what you're wasting, you want to change. You want to give that thing up because you're spending money and you're not getting anything for it. You're throwing it away. And I'm telling you, most people have way more than a $250 a month bleed. Most people are bleeding at least $500 to $1,500, sometimes more, depending on the amount of money you make. And so if all this did for you was show you how to save an extra $250 a month, that's worth $3,000 in a year. The value of this course is only $2,988. Okay, last bonus is like an extra little freebie. So you're going to get access to the Shark School community where I go live every single week. I answer questions, and not just about this. This is above and beyond the beta. I answer questions about strategy or about like practical applications of stuff. I'm live every single Friday, and it's a really wonderful community. We have other experts that chime in. We have credit experts, mortgage experts, investments, real estate, other people chime in. So it's a really wonderful like tribe of people who are all believing that they can do this, and it's just nice. This is like a warm and fuzzy, you know? So I'm going to just tell you everything that you get, and then I'm going to tell you the price. So you're going to get the entire course. It's a $1,497 value. The 6 parts of the program, the tools, the community. Then you're going to get bonus 1, super valuable, 7 strategies to pay off debt. Bonus 2, break the scarcity cycle, mindset work, super valuable. Easy habit changes. Again, super valuable. It's a $2,988 value. And if you buy this like today, because you have to do it by tomorrow the cart closes, you're going to get an extra beta bonus, $997. And this means we're going to be co-creating together. If you guys ask for bonus modules, I'm going to make them. I want to make sure that I take such good care of my clients in this. So I'm going to be answering questions, coaching you if you need that. I'm going to be there. We'll be answering questions. And once a week, I'm dedicating an entire hour to go live. And so that way you can have the recordings and everything that you need to make this thing freaking super sticky, successful for you. Okay, so I had 2 choices. I could make this program as super cheap as possible and sell it to as many people as I can. But here's the thing. My goal is really to help you get results and not just more information. So I wanted it to cost enough for you to really think about whether or not you're willing to do the things. So the investment is $297. Which is a screaming deal considering even just the beta bonus. Like if you paid $297 just to get access to me for 6 hours, that is still a freaking screaming deal. So if you're ready, go ahead and follow the link below to get the invisible system. And so listen, I get that it is counterintuitive to spend money to fix a money problem. I totally get it. People say this to me all the time. But here's the thing. If you're watching this webinar, it's probably because you lose money every month, like you're not where you want to be. And so if you could put duct tape on the bottom of your like leaky bucket, what's that worth to you? How much more could you be saving and accumulating if you fixed this problem? You know, and if you're thinking, I don't even have the money to buy this, I'm going to have to put on my credit card, and I'm literally like, that's super counterintuitive. I'm going to go deeper into debt to figure this shit out. Like, it's baffling. but sometimes you got to pull an arrow back to release it. And that's how it goes. And so if you find the 250, which you will, you know, if you find $250 that you've been wasting in just about 6 weeks, this course has more than paid for itself for you. And then you're going to be all in ROI land, all in return on investment. You'll be better off. So now it's time for you guys to make that decision, make that choice. And so again, the link is below. It's in the Facebook, it's in the thing. And so I wanted to give you another reason. If you're nervous, if you're not feeling confident, if you're wondering, gosh, I've tried budgets and that didn't work. I tried printing all the shit from Pinterest, that didn't work. I've tried this, and what if it's just me? So listen, if you don't like it, you don't even have to take any risk. If you get access to the program, so you'll end up with the pre-work and module 1 in the first 7 days. If you don't like it, just ask for your money back. Ironclad guarantee. Like, I'm super confident that this is really valuable and also that you're going to like it. But if it's not for you, man, you don't have to feel bad about it. Just ask for the money. We'll just give it to you. We'll just return it, right? No big deal. So you don't have to take any risk. So listen, you could take the information that I've taught to you today and try to do this on your own. But what I'm going to tell you is that you're going to get crappy results because habits are hard to change. Information is only potential. Lasting change comes repeated exposure to the system, implementation. And implementing is the part that takes action. None of it's hard, but that's the part that really people need help with. You need accountability, community. You need to see the momentum that other people are getting and share your success with them so everybody can help each other and move like collectively toward what it is that they want. Having that accountability, that opportunity for support and guidance is really critical to getting fantastic results. And so here's what Jody Podgorski said, that this woman is changing lives. She's helping to educate people how to handle their finances. Good and bad financial decisions affect us in the real world. And again, she goes back to like, nobody ever taught her this in school. Her eyes were so open when she came to this class that it was amazing. She actually called me after the fact and like wants her sisters to come work with me. Like, well, they got to call me themselves. And so again, this is a super screaming deal. It's only $297. I mean, I hope you're ready to pull the trigger. I think this is a fantastic investment. It's a short amount of time to really have that turnaround, but it's long enough where you have time to really go through your numbers, really execute one step at a time, go through it. It's not overwhelming. It's nice and easy. And $297, you're probably losing that every single month and just wasted inefficiencies in your life and in your budget. So here's the link. You guys have it below. And if you are wondering to yourself, like, man, this DIY system seems great. The course, the support, that seems nice, but like, that your problems run so much deeper than cash flow. If you've got strategy issues, that like your situation is a little bit more complicated, if you need a more detailed plan, if you know that 5 modules of mindset work isn't going to change everything for you and you want to, work with me for 6 months, that's fine. You can go to briesodano.com and fill out an application. Take about 5 clients a month for this kind of program. But if you're at that high level of service, if you need high touch, you need intense planning, then you can go ahead there and fill out an application to work with me. So listen, don't bleed one more month. Don't miss one more savings opportunity and feel bad about it. Don't make one more payment to your student loans or your credit cards without a strategy that makes sense. Don't do it. It's just not, you're throwing your money away. So we're just wrapping up and it's really time to make that choice. So again, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's a risk-free guarantee. The program is fantastic. The bonus modules push it over the edge. That beta course, your bonus, you're going to get all the love and help and support that you could possibly need. Plus, you get to ask for bonus modules. If there's anything that you would love to see in that course, you get to ask me to make it, and I'm going to make it. Like, this couldn't be, the price on this is so super duper low. So That's it. So, and again, if you need a higher level of service, if you want to be my client for 6 months and work with me one-on-one, then go ahead and fill out an application at briesodano.com for that. So again, thank you so much for sticking around until the bitter end. I appreciate it. I don't take your time lightly. The worksheets that I promised to you guys will be in your inbox shortly. If you missed anything, a replay will be coming out. And that's it. So thank you for sticking with me. If you have any questions, I don't think I saw any in the chat box, but are there any questions on Facebook or anywhere? All right, awesome. All right, have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it.